Let's be real, renal histology can feel like you're trying to navigate a maze, blindfolded. But what if I told you it's actually a game? And those tricky exam questions, they're just traps waiting for you. So if you've ever stared at a kidney diagram and felt your brain just fizzle out, this is for you. Today, we're going to build the mental map you need to win.
So, let's kick things off with a big question. You think you know your renal anatomy? Which one of these tiny microscopic zones is basically designed to trip you up on board exams? Seriously, knowing this stuff is what separates the good scores from the truly great ones. Stick with me, and I promise, by the end of this, you'll be spotting these anatomical traps from a mile away. Okay, let's dive in. First things first. Before we can start spotting the traps, we need to know the layout of the game board. The kidney's microscopic world is split into 4 really distinct zones. And trust me, understanding what is, and more importantly, what isn't in each zone is the absolute key. And here it is. This simple diagram is your master key. This is our whole game board. Up top, you've got the cortex. Then you get into the medulla, which itself is split into 3 layers: the outer stripe, the inner stripe, and then way down deep, the inner medulla. Seriously, burn this image into your brain because we're going to keep coming back to it. So just to lock it in, here are our 4 critical territories. We've got the cortex at the top, then the outer medulla, which remember is split into the outer stripe and the inner stripe, and finally the inner medulla at the very bottom. Why does this matter? Because each zone has a totally unique population of nephron parts. So let's fire up the quiz and find out who lives where.
All right, you've seen the map, you know the zones. Now the real challenge begins. I'm going to hit you with some rapid-fire questions. Your job, try to answer them before I reveal the solution. Ready? Let's do this.
First one up. Let's go deep, way down into the kidney. Think about that bottom zone, the inner medulla. It's kind of sparse down there, right? So which major workhorse segment of the nephron is completely, totally, 100% missing from this area?
Did you get it? The answer is the thick ascending limb, the TAL. That's right. The border between the outer and inner medulla is literally defined by the disappearance of the TAL. The second you cross that line into the inner medulla, boom, it's gone. All you've got left are thin limbs and collecting ducts. That is a classic exam trap.
Okay, trap number 2. Let's move up just one level. We're right at that critical border between the 2 stripes of the outer medulla. Imagine you're walking from the outer stripe into the inner stripe, and one particular tubule just hits a wall. It completely vanishes. Which one is it?
And the answer is the proximal tubule, specifically the last part of it, the proximal straight tubule, or PST. That border is literally marked by the end of these tubules. The moment you step into the inner stripe, all those proximal tubules are gone.
All right, let's head all the way up to the top floor, the cortex. You know, this place is like a bustling city. It's packed with glomeruli, convoluted tubules, even parts of the collecting ducts. But if you look really closely at the loop of Henle, there's one part that you will never find up there. What is it? The answer? The thin limbs. Now this one is subtle, but it's so important. You see, a part of the thick ascending limb does reach up into the cortex, but the thin limbs? Nope. They are exclusive residents of the medulla. That's a golden rule for histology. If you see a thin limb, you know for a fact you are not in the cortex. Okay, here it comes. Time for the final boss. This one puts it all together. There is only one single zone out of all 4 where you can find this specific trifecta of structures living side by side: the proximal straight tubule, the thick ascending limb, and collecting ducts. What's the zone?
The one and only answer is the outer stripe of the outer medulla. Think about it. It's the only place that makes sense. The cortex has PSTs, but no thin limbs. The inner stripe has TALs, but the proximal tubules are already gone, and the inner medulla has neither. Only the outer stripe contains that perfect specific combination, and that is exactly why these little zonal distinctions are such a big deal.
Whew, you made it through the rapid-fire round. So now, let's consolidate everything we've learned into one beautiful, high-yield summary. What you're about to see is your master key, the ultimate cheat sheet to avoid every single one of these traps.
And here it is. This table lays it all out plain and simple. It shows you exactly who lives where. You can see right away the convoluted tubules, both proximal and distal, are exclusive to the cortex. Check out the proximal straight tubule. It spans the cortex and the outer stripe, but that's its limit. And the TAL? It's in 3 of the 4 zones, but crucially, it's a no-show in the inner medulla. But what's the most telling part? Only one structure makes the entire journey from top to bottom, the collecting duct. So there you have it. What looks like a confusing jumble of tubes is actually a super organized, predictable system. Now that you've got this map and you know where the key structures are in each zone, you can turn these anatomical traps into easy points. You've got the tools. Now go ace those exams.